If only this old doorknob could tell stories. It came from a store that operated in the 1800s. It's not only about who came and went, but it's about their struggles and their joys. It's about what they bought. The store owner made trips with wagon and horses to the local railway station and picked up commodities that the neighbors would want to purchase. Life in the 1800s meant that they would have needs that would have been a little different than we have today. But they picked up items and purchased things from boots to candy. The gentleman that ran the store also raised a family right beside the store in the late 1800s. James B. Siler. Mary Miranda Brown married James B. Siler, and together with him raised the children and took care of the farm and store there along Meadow Creek. Their oldest daughter married an Evans and moved to Barberville in 1904. There they raised 9 children while operating a store called the Brick Store. Continuing the family tradition of running a store, 3 of Myrtle's sons took the brick store and converted it into a wholesale warehouse business that we affectionately called the Candy House. With 9 children, Myrtle's family tree grew bigger through the years. Myrtle Siler Evans, she was my grandmother. Myrtle Siler Evans, James Ben's oldest daughter and my grandmother. I can remember in the 1960s counting the cars that went by the house in Barberville as they went south towards Meadow Creek. And I can remember her undoing the bun on top of her head, and in the evening light her long gray hair flowed so beautifully. Nora became sick and passed away at the age of 16. She would be buried in the Siler Cemetery, where Ben would also bury his parents and his daughter Clara before he joined them there, close to the farm. The whole family's buried there except for the youngest John, who's buried on the farm where he spent all his life. Bill. It would be Bill's family that would stay close to Meadow Creek, tending the land and businesses and the church. 5 of his children would live past the year 2000. And one, Bert, outlived all of the other grandchildren and still lives in the house that James Ben Siler built. Bert, at a sunrise service in 2019, said, "I'm the oldest one here, and I'm happy to be here." Clara married the half-brother of her older sister's husband and had 1 child whom was known as Cotton, but then she passed at the age of 32. Cotton and Myrtle's son Wilbert, who was my father, often joked about being first cousins and a half. The youngest, John, spent all 82 years on the farm. From a letter that his oldest sister wrote when they were young adults, we get a glimpse into their life. She wrote about farming and faith and family. She told John to tell Pap, Mr. Ben Siler, about her children. Mr. James B. Siler, born 100 years after his family sailed from Germany and 50 years after his grandfather's family pioneered through the Cumberland Gap. James Ben's parents came from large families. He would know 18 of his aunts and uncles through his life, and they would come through the store and visit and make their purchases. They would meet together in their homes and at the church nearby. Many people that were around James Ben were families. In fact, those large families afforded him over 100 cousins. These large families were tied closely to each other and the land in a time of Abraham Lincoln, Mark Twain, and inventions that included things like barbed wire, telephone, light bulbs, Coca-Cola, and the radio. Times come and go, people come and go, but faith and love abide.